How's it going, everybody? I just kind of want to go ahead and share a project that I've been working on recently and that I just kind of, I guess, released. It's a GitHub action inspired by this video by the Primogen. I'll link it in the description if you haven't seen it. Very good video, but I'll just play a little clip that inspired me to make this project.
Okay, back to the rant. Hey, sorry, we're changing how we're doing stuff. I would not be surprised if in the next 3 months GitHub does not release features which will greatly reduce the amount of how issues are created, how PRs are created. I personally suggest my favorite version, which is if someone's assigned to an issue, they're allowed to make a PR. No assignment, no PR, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, so a little TLDR in case you don't know what's going on or aren't aware of the situation. Big open source projects like tldraw and curl, I think Zig as well was mentioned um, later on, not in that video, but just in general. They're closing down contributions because people are just uploading AI slop to just like pad their stats, which is fair enough. But I think, and GitHub's not doing anything about it, which kind of sucks, you know. GitHub's supposed to be like GitHub is the platform that everyone uses right now, so them not doing anything about it kind of sucks. But we'll see what happens in the future. You know, there's talks about people making their GitHub killers and whatever. We'll see where that goes. But this is just a little project based off that. It's GitHub Action. If you want to check it out, here's the repo. Feel free. Go ahead and start it. Shout out to whoever started it. But basically, it takes that idea that Primogen just basically just said and puts it into effect. Here's exactly what you need to just put inside of your workflow. Which tells you exactly what to do. Once you copy that, and I can just go ahead and show you an example of it working. So say someone comes to your open source repo and they're trying to contribute, but so they just make a PR, you know, it's some feature that you never would have accepted or you don't even want to have inside of your repo. And so someone just has a branch. Don't mind these are previous tests that were happening. But say they would create a PR and it's just a little demo. Everything else is whatever. And then it'll run this GitHub action. Yep. And basically, since this doesn't have an issue link in the description, it'll add this label and then it'll close it. So now, whenever the person, they'll see that their action failed on their pull request. Now they're going to go and hopefully create an issue. Now, this might cause more increased volume and issues, but that's something that can be handled somewhere else. But say there's an issue, I'll just reopen this test issue because I don't feel like creating another one. But yeah, say you reopen an issue and then you go back here. Say there's still missing an issue, just add the issue back, fixes number 7, test issue. You update the comment, GitHub action will load again, and then this time the label will be updated to needs assignment to the issue, and then yeah, not assigned, and it'll give you this message. You can ask the maintainer to assign you, and then you can open the PR. So if you go to PR and then assign yourself, whenever the maintainer assigns you to that issue or assigns whoever, everything will run again on the PR, and then it'll be back open because everything's good and all checks will pass. Now, say there's something that someone just quickly wants to merge in, there are labels that are overrides. You can set up a override label as this bypass label, something like maintainer override. That way, say I just get rid of the description. Usually this would cause the PR to close right away because there is no issue linked, but since it's a maintainer override, it'll stay open. And then also, since these are closed by bots. Say someone sees something that has an issue, is linked, but they still close the PR. It won't reopen the PR once it's closed by a human. If the last person that closed the PR was a human, the bot will not automatically reopen it. It won't override human input. So it's just a basic kind of implementation of this idea. Pretty pretty interesting. Pretty fun to do, in my opinion. First GitHub action, which is nice. But yeah, basically it's just I just want to share it because I know a lot of people right now they are struggling with knowing what to create, and I've been there. It's very hard. You just get in this big loop of should I make this, but so this already exists, or stuff like that. I just want to share like a good example of something like this is something that I would have watched anyways on my free time. I mean, I already did watch it beforehand before I even thought about this, but just something that stuck to me. This little thing, he was like, "Man, it would be so nice. Like, this is my idea, and then just taking someone's idea or a thought from someone who you know is like really good, like Shadow Prime. I'll link the video. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but I suggest you watch it, and then that can really help you gain knowledge, I guess. Like, he went over the situation, went over why it's bad and stuff. But yeah, just being able to create something like that. Now, I'm not saying this is like a perfect solution. Obviously not. It's not like the best thing in the world, but it's just something. Something is better than nothing. People will, especially right now, it's very easy to build stuff. AI everywhere. Every day is a new tool, Claudebot, whatever. Maybe I'll make a video about that, but all that stuff is very easy to get lost in. I feel like as long as you're doing something right now, just like keep going. I guess that's like unsolicited advice for anyone. Maybe I'll make a video regarding all that stuff, but yeah, just based off this is basically it. If anyone wants to check out the repo, feel free. I'll link it down below. Feel free to leave a star if you liked it, or feel free to use it if you are an open source maintainer and you are struggling. I know there's a lot. You probably build your own version. I wouldn't blame you. But yeah, here's just a quick copy and paste. You can put in your GitHub workflow, and that kind of will allow you to have this little workflow, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, that's basically it.